Good afternoon, YouTube friends. Thanks so much for coming by, and welcome to another episode of The Untamed Olive. Tonight for Sunday dinner, I am making a delicious creamy mushroom soup. It's one of my most favorite soups to make. It's so easy, and it's really good for you. So if you want to see how to do it, keep on watching. Okay guys, I've got my pan on medium heat with a little bit of spray olive oil in it. I'm adding a roughly chopped large white onion and 4 cloves of garlic, also roughly chopped. We're just going to saute those up until they're translucent and just a titch browned. And once our onions are nice and soft and translucent like so, I'm going to first add my portobello mushrooms before I add any other mushroom. I've just roughly chopped them. I'm going to dump them in and saute them for about 3 or 4 minutes. They tend to be a little bit more dense than any of the other mushrooms I've used, so I just like to give them a little bit more time to break down into our stock here. And once we let those saute for about 3 or 4 minutes, I'm going to add the rest of our mushrooms that I've roughly chopped. I've got 32 ounces of mushrooms in total. You can use any combination that you'd like. I tend to lean towards portobello and mushroom or whatever is on sale. So now I'm just dumping these bad boys in here. We're going to saute them up before we add our vegetable stock. And here's a little vegan budget produce trick for you. If you guys go to your grocery store earlier in the day, a lot of produce that's bruised or almost on the verge of going bad will be on sale. And I like to, when I'm thinking about doing this soup, check out the mushrooms in this way because you can get them for super cheap. And then again, like most other soups, you could freeze this so you can make a giant batch with really cheap mushrooms. I'm using like fancy gourmet mushrooms, which I never ever buy, but I did because they were only $1 something. So keep that in mind when you're using fresh produce to make soups. Okay, enough of me going on about how I save money on mushrooms. Here we've got all our mushrooms and onions and garlic that has been sauteing for probably about 8 minutes total. Now I'm dumping in 4 cups of vegetable broth. I just used the cubed bouillon like I used in my last video for a potato leek soup. If you want to see that video, I will also link it below. It's super good for soup season. Then I'm also adding a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper, and a 1/8 of a teaspoon of roasted red pepper flakes, and a giant sprig of thyme. We're just going to let that steep in the soup as we simmer. And we're just going to simmer this mixture on low heat for probably about a half an hour or until our mushrooms are nice and tender and the broth is looking really rich and dark brown. As you can see right here, it looks so good. I'm now going to pull this sprig of thyme out of here and get any extra goodies back in the soup there. And then to add a little bit of creaminess to this soup, I'm going to add a cup of unsweetened soy milk. You can use any plant-based milk of your choice. I just happen to have soy in my fridge, so that's what we're going to be using. We're going to mix it a bit and then we're going to pop it in the blender. Okay guys, I have somehow successfully added all of the soup to my Vitamix without making a giant mess. It's a ton of soup here. So I'm just going to blend it on the lowest speed for actually quite a while. The mushrooms turn into little bits and they take a while to really get all homogenized and creamy. So I'm letting them blend on low speed for about 30 to 40 seconds and then I'm slowly upping the speed here until we get a nice and creamy soup. And once we're super creamy, I'm gonna taste test and add a bit more fresh thyme for freshness and pepper and salt and red pepper flakes. I will obviously link below the exact amounts I used of everything, but use your taste here. This is where you're kind of getting the final flavor that you'd really like. And here is our creamy, delicious, hearty mushroom soup. It's super earthy tasting. I love it so much. This recipe makes enough for Steve and I to have for dinner tonight, and then plenty extra to either keep in the fridge for about a week or freeze, which is perfect for soup season. It's nice to have a little arsenal in our freezer of different types of soups that we can just defrost and have for dinner. So I'm just garnishing this with a couple of cute little mushrooms here and some thyme. And then I'm going to serve it with a veggie quesadilla that I made with, of course, more mushrooms, red pepper, a bit of vegan cheese, and what else did I put in it? Oh, a bit of tofu as well. So we're going to dunk that in the soup. It's going to be super yummy. I hope you guys will give this recipe a shot. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite soups are, or if there's any soups you'd like me to make a video on. Again, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you have a fabulous Sunday. Cheers.